We will call to order the Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago. Good morning. My name is Marisel Hernandez. Seated to my left is Commissioner Jonathan Swain. We have a quorum. At this time, Commissioner Kresse is away on business, and he has called in to be present.
And I'm here, and try to hit the gavel a little lighter.
Okay. Right now, we will go to the next item on the agenda, which is the consideration of the agenda. Any changes? If not, we will proceed. We have no minutes to approve, so we will proceed with the Executive Director's report. Mr. Goff.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Just to let you know that we are going over the ballot. We started printing the Republican ballot. They're on the presses. The problem is that we're getting some judicial reviews, so we're going to be held off from the Democratic ballot. And I know we were planning on opening up early vote next week. I think we may have to delay it. I don't want to do it while a lot of these court cases are in judicial review.
Two more filed this morning, so we've total of 3 now. The first filed prior to the court board meeting has a final hearing on this Friday. That's the earliest in the schedule. Those are the other 2 plus. One case is RGA 08 was the electoral board case. It's from the 9th State Representative District, Democratic primary from Taiwan, Democratic is the candidate. The second one is from the 32nd State Representative District, Democratic Party candidate is Ricky Gandhi. And the third is for the First Ward Democratic Committee person. Candidate is Jay Ramirez. Mr. Ramirez is one of those 3 candidates who was removed from the ballot from the electoral board, so he's currently off. And that's what always causes the biggest problems. You need to know whether the criminals put the name on or off.
And the county has some judicial reviews also. They have a county-wide judge.
A county-wide judge that's up for judicial review. The hearing is on Thursday.
Yeah.
And Jim Nelly was going to check with the circuit court this morning to see if anything else was found.
The challenge is presents because we have to begin publishing legal notices a week before the start of early vote. And especially for our Spanish, Chinese, and Hindi, a lot of the publications only come out on Friday. So we're going to have some flexible language in there saying if the ballot is ready, if the ballot is settled, we will begin only at 175 West Washington. And then the traditional program at 51 sites will begin March 2nd.
So I just wanted the board members to be aware of that. Other item, yesterday, our security meeting here.
Well, one quick question. If we do have to delay it, if people come to early vote, we'll give them the what? Vote by mail ballot or application? Or... Yes.
That's what we've always done in the past.
So if someone comes here in 40 days early vote, we'll just give them the vote by mail ballot.
Yes.
When the ballot's ready, we'll
Get those out there.
Okay.
And for the record, there's never been a primary where the 40 days has worked out.
Oh,
It's been impossible. I'm just
I got you.
for the video more.
The other items are that yesterday the press conference about security went real well, viral. We saw, and Jim Allen sent them out. All the press that we had on was very, very favorable. So I'd like to thank the board members for doing that. It worked out very good. A couple of other items. Hopefully by the end of this week, we will get all of our procedures ready for the pretrial detainees. We've already had the date set. We'll be meeting with the jail and the other groups this week, so hopefully we will get that something more concrete in writing to the board members. And everybody seems to be working. We will be working, I guess our offices will be open 7 days a week from now on. So I just want the board members to be aware of that. And that's all I have for you.
Judges?
Yes.
Judges, how do you know judges?
Judges, oh, okay, I'll let Charles.
Mr. Holliday.
Good morning, Madam Chair, fellow Commissioners. Right now, the number of judges assigned so far is 9,070. The number of judges returning that completed training class so far, 1,642. Training for returning judges started on January 12th. The number of classes remaining for returning judges, 94. The number of training classes remaining for new judges, which starts on February 2nd, is 79. And the number of training remaining for high school students, which starts February 3rd, is 31. Number of coordinators assigned so far, 935. The number of training classes remaining for coordinators, election coordinators, 80. There are 92 nursing homes participating in nursing home voting. As of yesterday, we have 5,658 vote by mail requests for ballots. Of that number, 439 you will cover. We have 91 polling place vacancies that are being worked on as we speak by the polling place department. The registration department is cleaning up the files in the IVRS system for the state and in-house registrations. So far we look great. We're caught up. And the warehouse is still receiving and testing of new equipment.
Mr. Allen.
Good morning. We've got a few activities going on right now. So first off, the military overseas voters will be the first to receive their ballots later this week. We'll be doing the mailing. We're meeting with Dominion this afternoon to finalize details of the online components where the voters access the ballot, then mark it, and then print it out and mail it to us. Legal notices, we just mentioned, both on the public test and early voting, both have to be flexible so that if we don't need to do the public test until later, after we were closer to early voting, we can do that, and the same with the start for early voting. The webpage has been updated for early voting with all the sites. We've had a couple of site changes. We're going back to, in the 6th Ward, trying to think of the library. But thank you. Young library, Young Regional Library, and then in the 42nd Ward, we're moving from the museum for communications to a site a block away on Clark Street. The news conference, thank you both for attending. For a phone call that came in Friday afternoon, we were able to put that together. And that went pretty smoothly with Governor Pritzker and Congressman Quigley. The notices on the 124 AVR voters, the translations have been completed, so we'll be mailing those out with email, phone number, and a business reply and postage paid envelope to those voters so that if they want to re-register, they can. Several media inquiries came in last week related to the wrap-up of all the electoral board activities. On February 11 at the next board meeting, we will have Mila Lavoni-Zadell, the Whitney Young student, with the dress that will be coinciding with next month, of course, is the 100th anniversary of the founding of the League of Women Voters, and in turn, later this year, the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment. So she will be here. MICVA Challenge has agreed to co-sponsor a social media contest with us. So in the past, we've talked about social media to reach out rather to 17-year-olds who will be 18 by election day. And the difficulty we have is that we don't have like a following. So we're going to co-sponsor a contest with prizes for the best 3 based on creativity and content and thoroughness. So MICVA is going to help us get the word out on that. And that'll be open to all high school age students, and in order for them to do whatever they want in terms of their social media platforms. So we hope that that will spark a lot of activity among the youth group that we're targeting. Lastly, we've got a couple items later on the agenda with CPURX, the web hosting contract, as well as the household mailing contract.
Okay, thank you. We will now proceed to old business, infrastructure projects, changes in election administration and voting equipment. I think we've handled that. Is there anything more to say, Mr. Goff, on that?
Well, just to let you know that with the new voting system, we're going to be redesigning vote by mail. So our return envelope is going to be a smaller envelope. It will not be a flat. It saves us almost $1 on postage coming back. So it's really something that will be new. It'll be all automated at the post office. When we send our vote by mails back, they were flats and they had to be hand canceled. This one goes right to the machine, so I'm really excited. It should speed up that whole process of vote by mail. So that is the one big improvement that we're making besides voting.
Electronic poll books, do we have any updates on that?
Yes, the upgrade of the e-poll book stand has started at the courthouse.
Legislation, Mr. Lasker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioners, we're following 3 bills that we just requested opinions on from the city. Nothing big. One bill would prohibit using municipal ID cards for voting purposes. Appears to sort of be against the Chicago ID card, which was released last year. That bill would also prohibit non-citizens from voting in Illinois elections, which is already in the election code. So we would just sort of add that on, I suppose. The second bill makes amendments to certain campaign finance expenditure restrictions and definitions of close family members, not really relevant to this board because we have no jurisdiction over campaign finance. The third bill would be to repeal basically what we know as the loyalty oath. Candidates have the option of filing a sworn statement that they're not affiliated with any communist organizations. The election code still expressly requires that to be filed along with nomination papers, but it was as long ago as 1973 that the Illinois Supreme Court found that to be unconstitutional. So now there's finally a bill to repeal that requirement, which is not a requirement to anyone in the case. That's it for the moment.
Okay, great, thank you. We will now proceed to new business, and first is the approval of a contract with Hensley, formerly known as 3X Data, for absentee ballot fulfillment in the 2020 primary election. Mr. Allen?
Good morning. This contract is a continuation and a slight enhancement over the past services that we've received. Essentially, this contract covers the processing of the vote-by-mail ballots to get them out to the voters. So we get a file. They have the ballots at the fulfillment center. They also work for suburban Cook County on this same front, and they make sure that the right language materials go in for the instructions to the voter, a return envelope that will now be barcoded, and lastly, the ballot itself. So the new enhanced service is what we've worked out so that we're going to be able to allow our voters to track this like an Amazon package. So when it comes back, there'll be 2 barcodes on there, an intelligent mail barcode and then one that we use to process for the signature. And so voters will now be able to just click on a web page that's unique to them and be able to track where their envelope is coming back to the election board. Ultimately, then we also send an email to that voter confirming that their ballot has been received and counted.
And I understand that Hensley is a nationally certified WBU.
They are, and they are in the process of working with Cook County to get their certification for Cook County and the city of Chicago.
Thank you, Barbara. If there are no further questions, is there a motion to enter into a contract with Hensley Mailing Company for a 2-month term from January 30th through March 31st, 2020, in the amount of $326,400 for absentee and provisional ballot fulfillment for the 2020 primary March election?
I'm glad. question before I make a motion on that. The memo we have talks about a long contract, just doing the primary.
We're doing the primary as well as the general election?
I thought we were doing primary and general. Sorry.
Okay, I just heard her do a 2-month term, March 31st.
Right.
The memo talks about going to November 30th, 2020. The agenda talks about the primary election.
That was a mistake.
Okay.
Now we're talking about.
Well, we
going
could-
through the-
We could approve this separately and then approve the November, for the November.
That's fine. I guess my own question is there any issue with that item? It was not listed as for only the primary of the agenda.
Well, the agenda language is supposed to set forth the nature of the action. It's actually more, the agenda that we have right now is more specific than it's required to be.
Okay.
What I would suggest is that ratification is also permissible, so you could approve the entire contract today, and then for whatever concern there might be on the agenda, we could ratify that portion of the contract in the next meeting by placing that portion on the agenda.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
And we're approving from, just so I'm clear, we're just doing the 2-month or the whole thing?
We're doing separate motions.
Separate, okay, so, so moved on the stated by the chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Now we will have a motion to approve, to enter into a contract with Hensley Mailing Company for the November 2020 election for absentee and provisional ballot fulfillment in the amount of $438,600. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a bid award and contract approval for the printing and mailing of, what's IFB?
Invitation for bids.
For the February 2020 household pre-election canvass.
Good morning, Madam Chair, fellow commissioners. The purchasing department issued an invitation for bid for the printing, mailing of the February 2020 household pre-election mailing on January 9th. There was a question and answer period between January 14th and January 16th. Responses were issued on January 16th. The bids were due back on January 24th, and the bids were opened on January 24th at 10 a.m. There were 6 bids received. Of the 6, the lowest responsible bidder is J.J. Collins at $70,500. The next highest was, or the next lowest, I should say, was approximately $11,000 higher. So my recommendation or request is that we award the contract to J.J. Collins for this IFB.
Thank you, Robert. Are there any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve a contract with J.J. Collins in the amount of $70,500 for the printing and mailing of the February 2020 household pre-election mailing? And this contract will begin January 28, 2020 and expire on March 31st, 2020 with 2 one-year options to renew.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We next have an agreement, or proposed agreement with CPURX for web hosting and one-time conversion to Azure Government Cloud. Mr. Allen?
CPURX has been working with the board since 2013 to provide off-site housing of our website, as well as related security measures, and also to respond to us as far as increasing capacity, especially during peak periods. This contract only comes before you because it exceeds the $25,000 threshold for the first time, and the reason for that is that among the variety of recommendations that our cybersecurity expert Rahul Patel made was that we should have the website hosted on the Microsoft Azure cloud, the government cloud. So there's a one-time conversion of that for $4,200, taken together with the $22,000 or so in monthly service fees. That bumps it up to $27,000. The vendor has been extremely competent and responsive during all varieties of questions. They have kept our site extremely secure and robust, especially during election time. And we're recommending that you please approve this contract.
Thank you. Are there any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve a contract with CPU RX to provide the board with off-site servers for the board's website as well as related security for the 2020 calendar year in the amount of $27,000?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Mr. Lasker, do you have anything additional with regards to a legal report?
Well, of course, as we discussed the electoral board cases, the one thing I'll mention is tomorrow is the filing deadline for the last of the cases. Well, that would just be the one case we have on Friday, so today's probably the last board we're going to see. Additionally, this is our first board meeting since on January 17th, we received a published opinion from the First District Appellate Court in the Fifth Ward election contest case, matter of William Callaway versus Leslie Harrison. There's no change to the election results as a part of the election contest. There was really a bit of a challenge to our post-election canvass procedures, and we did receive a very strong affirmation from the appellate court that the methods and procedures we've been following are correct under the statute. So I just tip my hat to the board for doing the job the right way.
There is no financial report today. We have received no request for public comment. Is there a need for executive session today?
No.
Okay. If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn to our next regularly scheduled meeting on February 11, 2019 at 2020 at 9:30 a.m. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We are adjourned. Thank you.